Well, hello, Tube. Today we have the final short story in the collected short stories of Louis L'Amour. Actually, it's the second to last, but I saved the novella-sized one to last. By the way, there's an affiliate link down below if you want to go use that at bookshop.org. Wow, I said that weird. There's an affiliate link for bookshop.org down below where you can use it to go buy this awesome collected short stories of Louis L'Amour Volume 1, the Frontier Stories, where you can also book. I get a little commission, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win-win. I win, you win, bookshop.org wins. It, the world is beautiful. Um, or if you don't want to buy that, you can use it to use my affiliate link to buy any other book. Anyway, Rustler Roundup. What a great way to end June on the Range 2023. An absolute banger. Up just as good as Fallon. This whole book, there's only like 2 or 3 duds in this entire book out of 34 stories, I think. There's like 2 or 3 that I'm like, including yesterday's. The dog is in the kitchen or in the bathroom sniffing at something. I don't know. Don't ask me. Russell Roundup. Finn Mahone, a guy that likes to stick to himself. There's a group of cattle rustlers that are looking to pin their bad deeds onto this guy. And spoiler alert, there's their little plan falls apart before it even gets started. Um, and but anyway, so of course there's the love interest in a fellow man's daughter, fellow cattleman's daughter, and that farm has this dude named Texas Dowd, who him and Mahoney had a a checkered past, you could say, and it takes some time before we figure out what that checkered past is. You're just gonna have to read it to find out. I want to try to do this with as little detail as I possibly can because I want you to go get yourself a copy of Rustlers Roundup, whether it's this book or another book, or I don't know if there's any free PDFs online because I'm a bad booktuber and I should have I should I should have looked to see if it was in the public domain or not. But anyway, so it starts off with a big old fight. You know, this Mahoney guy just beats the living crap out of this boxer from New York. You see that a lot in his these big brutes from New York that come down, and these guys from the West just beat the tar out of them, and out of those Yankees, those tenderfoot Yankees. But anyway, so it starts off with this awesome fight scene. Then we find out that Dodd and Mahoney probably don't get along. But Mahoney lives on like the most beautiful plot of land, and I don't know where they are exactly. Maybe Texas somewhere. But so this girl Remy decides to who has a kind of an interest in Mahoney, rides out there to take a gander. She falls in love with the place. She wants his horse, by the way. Typical women. They always want your ride. Um, that'll get me canceled. But anyway, so long story short, she has like an interest in him, and there's talk around this town that Mahoney is a rustler. Of course, he's spoiler alert not, and so he kind of gets into detective mode to try to figure out what's going on. This wrestling group hired basically conned a detective, a rustler detective, into a job, and then that's kind of how the whole plot falls apart on them. Is that their motives are very quickly seen through, and And then, of course, chaos breaks out. And that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. This book, or this story, Rustlers Roundup, was an absolute banger. Go read it. Next year, June on the Range, if you need a suggestion on a book to read, maybe you're not really into Westerns, but you want to give it a shot, you can't go wrong with Louis L'Amour. And you really can't go wrong with his short story collections. His short stories are right up there with the best of them. You know, Eudora Welty or who else is that? Borges. He's basically the Borges of Western literature. There is nothing, you know, it's genre fiction, but it's so much more than that. They're just so much fun. The writing is great. My only complaint with I do have one small complaint with Rustlers Roundup. Man, it's hard to say for me. Is that at one point, so you have Finn Mahoney, right? And then there's this other guy named Finnerty. And when there was a section where Finn Mahoney and Finnerty was having a discussion between themselves, and that got a little confusing. But it was a brief discussion, but Louis L'Amour, come on, Louis. There's a million different names you could pick out there. Why did you have two that were so similar? But yeah, that's it for June on the Range 2023. It was an awesome month, an awesome reading month. I had so much fun. It's bittersweet because I put way too much on my plate this year between school. I mean, luckily the classes were relatively easy this term. And I did start early. I gave myself plenty of of oh my lord, talking hard. It's like 9:30. It's past my bedtime. I gave myself plenty of a cushion because I knew I was going to do multiple video a day plus some. But I barely finished. I barely got there. But loved it. Wouldn't change this month for anything. Um, I will say that, you know, if you watched my TBR video, I'll do a recap at some point. We'll end that here. Let's stay on track. Rustlers Roundup. Have you read Rustlers Roundup? Have you read Louis L'Amour's Collector Short Stories, Volume 1, Frontier Stories? Banger. Get this book. If you're a fan of Westerns and you have not got this, read it, it's like $7. It's $6.99. I'm sure it's cheaper than that used. You probably can find it on eBay for a couple bucks. Fan of Westerns, you haven't read this, go read it. If you're not a fan of Westerns but want something to maybe dip your toe in, it's a great place. Just a great place. That's it for this one, peeps. Cheers.